So first off, I just want to mention that the homework was, I don't know, not many people did it. Uh, some people did the homework, but then didn't submit it, which is just very confusing. Uh, I just want to tell everyone, if you didn't finish the homework, it's a lot. If you have it like on a separate doc or something and you just didn't attach it, make sure to attach it and submit that. But I guess you're gonna do this one, I can give it sort of a pass. Make sure that okay, it's pretty much everyone else has done like every single other homework besides the last one. And sometimes like people just take 2 weeks or something. But I can't really go over the homework because of that. So I think we are going to start off once again, just still waiting for people to join, of course. We can start off by just first of all, we're going on to a new textbook and a new workbook. We were on 5A, now we're on 5B. So I guess I'll start off by posting these. You can open those up. While we get going, if you're, it looks like some people, there's like so most people have like one homework from like just some random day they didn't finish. So if you want, you can go into your like to do in Google Classroom and work on that for like 5 minutes while we wait for other people and I post the materials for the new textbooks. All right, so the textbook should be posted. All right, and now we'll post the workbook. All right, good. So the workbook and the textbook should both be posted. We're gonna start on the textbook in like 2 minutes once some more people file in. Now we're starting the textbook. I might have said textbook, but if I didn't, then yeah, we're starting the textbook. One sec. Okay.
Are we starting 5B today?
Yes, we are starting 5B. I just posted the textbook and the workbook. We're gonna start the textbook in like 10 seconds. A lot of people did not finish last week's homework, or like they started it, or they like had it open but didn't submit it. So I assume they didn't finish it or something. Like maybe didn't check over their answers. So while we wait for like I think there's like one or two more people. While we wait for them, you can just do that.
Like 3 weeks before, like no one came.
Oh yeah, that week. Yep. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with some of the more basic parts of the lesson. Like I'll just, because we did rounding already, I'm pretty sure. So I think we can just skip that part. Yeah. Because 5B is kind of like we're taking stuff from 5A and then we're going to be expanding upon it. So for now, I'm just going to post some of the questions and you can start working on them. This seems pretty easy. Yeah, just those these. All right, so I'm not gonna explain these questions, I'm pretty sure. I'll just let you guys figure it out because like each question builds upon the previous one. So these are 8 and 9. These are gonna be questions, these are gonna be in set 1. So send all these questions in set 1. And then I'll send set 2, which is gonna be a bit more difficult, but it's still easy. If you need help on, don't send them all at once. Send the question ones first. And if people are having trouble, I'll go over them. Actually, yes. These. That's question 2. That's question 3. So question 1 is kind of just you multiply stuff by 10. Question 2, we multiply it by different powers of 10, but they're all beginning with 1. And then questions in the final set, they get a bit more complicated. We use different numbers or different amount of zeros, but you should be able to figure it out somewhat easily. Okay, so don't send each question bit by bit. Send me all the questions ones in one piece. So you should be sending me 9 answers in your first message, 6 answers in your second message, and 6 in your third one. It's like don't send me them all at once. Because I want to check them bit by bit. But also don't send me question by question by question, because then my entire chat box gets filled. Yeah, so we're gonna be working with some decimal stuff with multiplication, and then we're gonna do some more decimal stuff, but with division. Okay, so it looks like we might be having a bit of trouble on the question, so I'm just gonna quickly go over the general principle. So when you multiply something by a multiple of 10, the way you can think about it is you're shifting the decimal point. So when you multiply something by 10, we can shift the decimal point to the right. If we're multiplying it by 100, we shift it to the right twice. So you shift it right the amount of times of zeros you see. So all of these questions, we're going to shift it right once because we only see 1 0. For a question like this, you would shift it 1, 2, 3, and we'd have to add 2 extra zeros to compensate. For example, here we see 3 zeros, so we shift it 3 times, and we add an extra 0 to compensate for that extra spot here. This question, we have 2 here, add a 0 to compensate. 2, we shift it twice, we don't have to add anything. So this is how you would do questions like this. You gotta shift it right, the amount of zeros there are. Keep in mind, we're shifting it to the right because it's multiplication. When we do division, we're going to shift it to the left.
Where is everyone else?
I do not know where everyone else is. It's just us four, seems like it. One girl actually had a conflict issue, so that's why she's gone. But we are missing 2 people, 1 person. I think it's 2 people. Yeah, we are still missing 2 people. I think we're missing, let's see, Valentina, Matt the Hat, and I always confuse the accounts, but whoever Claire's account isn't, which I think is 9 or something. Yeah, so I'm waiting for a tiny bit more answers and then we'll get moving on. Excellent. Yeah, so everyone. All right, good. Yeah. If you're still working on some of the questions, it's fine. I'm just gonna scroll down to here. You can still keep working on question 2 and such. Yeah, so decimals are just really a representation of a number divided by 10 or 100 or 1,000. Now we're going to do division by them.
Who are we missing?
I'm not really sure on the particulars. I know Valentina has a conflict issue, and then Matt the Hat's not here, and then I know their Google account, but I'm not sure their Zoom name, but someone else is missing. So now we're going to do division by a decimal. So when we multiply by a decimal, or in this case, it's really multiplied by a power of 10, we're going to be shifting as we saw, we shifted the decimal point to the right. making a number bigger. When we divide by a multiple of 10, we're going to shift it to the left, making it smaller. So just to give some examples, this is the same thing as we just did, except we're doing division now. So there's a slight difference. We're going to, you can start working on these. Put this here, 4. That is not a good 4. Let's go with just, that's a 4. Honestly, I don't know which one's the real Alan. There's 2 Allens now, and I don't know which one's which. Yeah, so these questions aren't too bad. We have tens. And then we have the same principle as when we added like different types of numbers. Now we're gonna have not just tens. Oh, no, we're only gonna have like tens, but the amount of tens is gonna change. Let's see if our question 2 is done. Yeah, so I'm going for a few more answers. Need to just check one thing quickly. All right. Good job. I think. Yes, you guys seem to have the hang of the multiplication and division by tens, hundreds, or thousands. Yeah. So for some reason, the textbook did not give any. Am I muted? Can you guys hear me? All right, because my thing isn't like going green, so okay. The point is, you guys can see the 10. You guys, for the multiplication, you did tens, you did multiples of tens, and you did multiples of tens using special numbers. For division, you did tens, and you did multiplications of tens. I don't really know why they don't have multiplications of tens with special numbers or just multiplications of tens. But it's fine. It's fine. We'll make do. So we're just gonna not do that because they don't give it. And we're going to move on to multiplication by a 2-digit number. All right. So this part you really need pen and paper for. We're gonna be doing some long multiplication. I think most of you should probably know like the basics of long like multiplication by now. I'll just send like a quick graph. You can send me a private message if you want me to go over it in more detail. But the general idea is that to solve a question, multiplication, solving 2,187 and multiplied by 32, you're really solving two questions. First, you just ignore this and you do 2 multiplied by 2,187, that's 4, you carry the 1, 2 and 8, that's 16, add a 1, 17, carry the 1, 2 times 1 is 2, 3, 2 times 2 is 2, 4, and then you go over here, you ignore the 2, and you basically, since it's the second digit, you place a 0 here. I don't know why they didn't write the 0, there should be a 0. You can just skip the 0, but like some people write a 0. 3 times 7 is 1, carry the 2, this is 24, 6, carry the 2, this is 3, 5, 6. You add them together over here, 4, 8, 9, 9, 6. That's how you would do long multiplication. Once again, if you want me to go over it in more detail, I can do that I can do that. So now I'm going to send some questions. These are all long multiplication questions. However, there's a twist. We have decimals now. So before anyone starts, I mean, you can start if you know how to do it. But how are we going to do it now that we have decimals? Well, what we're going to do, the method they give is honestly kind of bad because they kind of teach you one method. And then I'm pretty sure later on in the textbook, in like a few weeks, they'll teach you a new method, which is just like the one I'm going to teach you now. So what we're going to do is we're basically just going to multiply this by 100, and then we're going to divide it by 100. All right. Now, if you multiply something by like a number and then divide it by the same number, it's the same thing as doing nothing. Okay. Now, I'm going to explain two things. Okay. One, why 100? Why am I doing 100? Well, we're actually going to not do 100 for this one. For this one, we're going to do times 10 multiplied by 10. For this one, we're going to do multiplied by 100 divided by 100. I'll go over why 100 / why 10 / why whatever number I'm picking. Question 2, why are we doing multiplication and division? Why are we adding this step if it changes nothing? Because like, once again, the reason we can do this is because multiplying by something by a number and dividing by a number basically do nothing. So why multiplication and why division? Why are we doing this? Well, I'll go over question A quickly. Question A is 0.78 multiplied by 43. And once again, we're going to multiply 100 and divide by 100. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this multiplied by 100 and we're going to kind of cross it out and then do it here. So actually, I won't write that. I'll do this. So this becomes 78 multiplied by 43 divided by 100. Now, where did this 100 go? Well, it's 78 because remember, 100 times 0.78 is the same thing as shifting the decimal over 2 points. Remember, we did that earlier up here. Remember, we did the same thing. Multiplying by 100, we shifted it over to the right 2 spaces. So that's what we're doing here. So when we shift it over 2 spaces, we get this question. Now we're going to solve 78 multiplied by 43, right? We do our long multiplication for 2, 21, 23, 0, 2, 3, 4, 7, 28. Our answer would be 4, 5. This would be our answer. Then we divide it by 100. We know how to do that. That's just taking the decimal spot and moving it over 2. meaning that the answer would become 33.54. So, might seem like a lot. I'll quickly run over it. Step one is we are going to count the amount of spaces to the right of a decimal point, right? In this case, we have 2 spaces, and then we're gonna spaces equals zeros. So we're gonna multiply by 100 and divide by 100. The reason we do this is so we can take the multiply by 100 to cancel out the 0.78 to make it just a normal 78. Then we do the multiplication, and then at the end, we divide it by 100. It's kind of just like taking all the decimals and grouping them up and then putting them in at the end, because multiplication with decimals is difficult. You guys can start working on these questions, but I'm just going to quickly go over one more thing. For example, if I gave you the question 0.7 times 0.8, I'm actually going to use the normal X symbol because that's going to be easier for now. 0.8 times 0.7, we're going to count how many spaces are to the right of decimal points, 1 and 2. So we're going to multiply by 100, and then we're going to divide by 100. By multiplying by 100, we cancel out both of these decimals, making it 7 times 8. And then we divide by 100. So this is 56 divided by 100. 56 divided by 100 is the same thing as moving the decimal point 2 over. So our answer would be 0.56. So basically, whenever you're ever multiplying decimals, you can always use this trick. When you get to like a certain level where you really understand what's going on, you don't need to use the trick because then you can just do it. It like does it automatically for you. But for now, since you're just learning it, this trick is helpful to help you know how many decimal spaces you got to move your decimal. Also, I'll erase some of this stuff just to make it easier to see. So that's really weird. Everybody just posted their answers at like basically the same time. Oh wait, never mind. Alan just sent what in messages. I'm so confused. Whatever. Okay. Never mind. You guys can just keep working on that. I think that's where we're gonna leave off for today. Like by material. I'm gonna post a few more questions. I'm gonna drag this down a bit lower. Give me 1 second. Sorry about this. All right, I think I'll find a few more questions. I'll go into the workbook. This is an interesting thing. You don't have to do this. I just want to post it. It's in the workbook. For some reason, in the workbook for for 5A, there's not like any games, but look at this question here. We're gonna make a fish. I'm just gonna do this quickly. 0.08. Let's see. I mean, there's 10, so I'd assume it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I'm just gonna share in the answer. Look at this. You can make a fish. This is a pretty bad fish, but very interesting. Very interesting. Moving on, I'm going to post some. Let's see. All right, I'll post X. So I don't really think I can post this because it's a bit too spread out because it's giving you space to do it on the boxes. I'll post it anyways. If you want, this is exercise 11 in the workbook. So you can open it up there if you want. That should be easier to see because this is gonna get shrunk pretty small. All right, it looks like people are still working on these. I think I'm gonna get the homework posted, and you guys can start working on that when you guys feel like it. I think I won't be making this homework. It's like if you don't finish it, you don't finish it. It's fine. All right, you are not going to have much much homework this week. Yeah, very little. It'll be posted within like 10 seconds or so. It's going to be due on the 14th. It's going to be 10 points. All right. The homework is posted. If you finish all these questions, including like the bottom ones, if you finish all of them, then you can move on to the homework. If you're done, you can just move on to the homework. The homework should be posted. No, homework's posted. Yes, yep. Also, make sure you finished the homework from last week. A lot of people did not finish that. So, I'll put it this way. If you didn't start last week's homework, you can skip it because I don't want to make you do like that much work. However, if you started last week's homework, like on a special doc, or if you didn't submit it, stuff like that. For example, Alex, I'm pretty sure you did the homework, but you just didn't submit it. Yeah, you can leave once you finish all these questions. Actually, it's 12:57. Yeah, you can just leave anyways. Yeah. That's it for class. Just make sure you do this week's homework, and it's optional to finish last week's, but if you started it and it's not that much work, or if you have extra time, definitely do it because it's mostly a review and that helps solidify your knowledge. With that out of the way, you guys can head out. See you guys.